Getting your own concrete can cause a lot of headaches, but it doesn't have to be that way. In this video, we'll be getting to the top 4 problems that you might run into, how to avoid them, and what we do here at WolfSteel Buildings to help you out. So let's get into it.
Let's go. Welcome back, Pack. Ed here from the WolfSteel Marketing Department with my man David. Let's go. Back again, brother.
Yes,
man.
sir. Hey, people loved it.
They loved it, man. They love our energy, so let's keep it going. Let's
Did you
keep
get
it
taller?
going. Just a little bit, a little bit.
My man.
I hit my growth spurt. But there we go, and today, like I mentioned, like David mentioned in the beginning, today we're gonna be going over the top 4 problems we see clients go through when getting their own concrete for their metal building. It's huge.
It's huge, man. Seeing these issues is why we decided we start offering concrete here at WolfSteel Buildings, because we'll be giving you insights on the horror stories that we hear throughout the combined years of experience when someone gets their own concrete, and how they can learn from them.
Yes.
Those top 4 problems are gonna be failing to meet permit requirements and setbacks. Site isn't properly prepared for your concrete foundation. Structural problems on the building due to the foundation.
Oof, that's a big one.
And the worst one yet, having a contractor that starts a job and doesn't even finish it. Or even worse, doesn't even show up.
Man, that's tough. Right?
I don't know about you, man, but that's not right.
That would grind my gears for sure, man. But to be completely transparent, Pack, again, if you're looking for like a storage, a garage, a man cave area, or even just a shed, right? Or even a hangout spot, right? Because that's what we do, a lot of those as well. For you and your family, the information in this video is going to be very, very informational. It's going to be very good for you. So again, I highly recommend sticking through the whole video so you can really get those insights of those 4 problems that we always encounter.
Now, if you're in the market for a barndominium or commercial, a public use building, then this video might not be for you, because we have a completely different set of standards for you. We do fully engineered process from soil tests to structural plans to foundation plans for the building. It's a whole process on its own.
It's a different process.
This video might not be for you. With that being said,
man, are you ready, David?
Let's get it cracking.
Let's go. Alrighty, Pack. So again, in this video, we'll be going through the key points like we mentioned in the beginning, and how everything kind of flows from from start to finish, right, David? So let's start off with permits first, because this is a huge one, especially now with cities being very strict now. So David, what can happen when the permits are met? So talk to us. Give us those insights, David.
Yeah, so setbacks. Let's start with setbacks. Setbacks are the minimum distance your building must be from the property line, from the road or your neighbor's property. Some setbacks, in some situations, you have to be at least 10 feet away from the fence line from both the front and the side, or from the back and the side. And that's the one that I usually see the most. Even distance from your house, depends on the height of the building. Setbacks can help provide a safe space for safety, privacy, utilities, and even access around the property.
The whole property, man, that's huge. Again, setbacks going back is where you can place your building is huge. So again, we actually had a situation here, David, when we had to move back a foot away to the house, every foot taller than 10. So basically,
I remember that.
So basically, every
single, I think that was mine.
It might have been yours, right? So I think you had a little bit of story on that. So every foot, the building had to be moved away.
Exactly. So when we originally sold it, it was 12 feet tall. But the building, I think where it was sitting at originally, it can only be 10 feet. So if you wanted to go at 11 feet, we have to push it back 1 foot. If you want to be 12 feet like he originally planned, he had to be back 2 feet. That meant extending the driveway, so it had additional cost. So it's all those little details that you have to know.
So another thing is permits as well.
Permits,
that's a huge one. Huge one.
Exactly.
So talk to us. Give us insights on the whole permitting process.
I mean, permits is exactly what it sounds like. It's just basically permission from the city or the county to be able to build on your property. And this is because requirements tend to get a little bit more strict within the cities and the counties as they continue to grow. We see it all the time. It's growing, in the commute, in the morning and at night. It's terrible, unless you live in the rural area. The city wants to make sure that what you're adding on your property is being done right. That's all it is.
Another thing, Pack, is that this is really good to know, because the problem with pouring your concrete and building a metal building without meeting those permit requirements, man, or setbacks like you mentioned, can really result like in a very hefty fine, or sometimes even worse, David. You might have to even tear down the whole building. It's a huge headache. So again, I don't know about you, David, but I don't just have money to throw away like that. It's a big investment. So getting it right the first time is huge. So
so that's why we're working with us. We do what we call a preliminary permitting check, regardless if you get concrete from from us or not, we still do that so that we can let you know what those requirements are. We'll let you know what the setbacks and the permit requirements are. That way you don't have to stress about finding what those are. Now, if you don't get concrete from us, unfortunately, we don't pull permits. But if you are getting concrete from us, we'll take care of the whole process. Don't worry about it. Just call us and we'll take care of it.
Man, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Love that. Cities and counties are getting more and more involved, and in some of these cases getting even more strict. There's been several cases where the permit requirements include a full set of engineer plans as well, for both the building and the concrete. So I mean, in some of these cases it can even be a soil test.
Before we move on, engineering and soil test is a topic on its own.
You're right.
So we won't get too much into it, but a soil test is basically when a team goes out to your site, drills down 15 to 20 feet, and they pull soil samples. And what that is they grab data on how stable or unstable your ground is to be able to know if it's safe to set a building on there. Because the foundation's heavy, but so is the building. Now the foundation engineers grab that data as well as the building engineer plans, and they put the full set of plans together, and then that's how they design the actual foundation plans. Once we have all that, we put that along with the site prep, and boom, you have your grand total for your foundation and site prep cost. Which brings me to my next topic, which is the site prep.
Thank you so much, Dave, for explaining that whole process. It's almost like you sell these daily, Dave.
I used to, bro. Now I'm just educating daily.
Man, thank you so much.
That's what I'm here for, bro.
But ultimately, Pat, again, we don't want to scare you. The good news is that you might not need any of this, right? You might just need, especially in the rural area, you might just need like a building permit.
Yeah, sometimes not even that.
Not even nothing.
Let's be honest, those are our favorites.
Man, our favorites for sure.
So give us the money and we build them.
Man, we can make happen.
Let's get it going.
So again, talk to us, brother. What happens when a site is not properly, prepped for the foundation? I know we always mention that the building is not as strong as the foundation it sits on, right? So you got to have an supporting foundation.
That's a very big topic to understand, especially when getting your own concrete. This whole topic is about getting your own concrete, right? So site prep is very important when you're going to get your own concrete, because if the land isn't prepped properly, it could potentially result into like water seepage between the frame of the building and the panels and the foundation. Maybe water pooling in front of your garage doors, or even potential structural problems in the future. The only way to understand what site prep really is by doing a site visit and getting boots on the ground. Ed, give us an example of what all goes on during the site visit, because I know you've done a couple of these site visits, you've recorded a few of them, so give us an example of what all it's included.
Of course. So again, during the site visit, we're gonna have our subs, go out there, and they're gonna have a checklist of what to look out for and what problems are they trying to avoid. Again, one of the biggest ones is water, right? But quickly, the checklist includes the 4 corners of elevations, of where you're going to be sitting your building, right? So this will determine really like how to level off your site, from the highest point to the lowest point. So it's huge, right? It's huge. Another thing is that we see what kind of dirt and base is needed. So and how much is needed as well, because we want to make sure that that site is not only flat but also level.
Exactly.
So, that's huge, and at least leveled about 4 inches, right?
Always going to be 4 inches above grade to make sure that we minimize the potential of water seepage. So that's what that 4 inches above grade is.
Beautiful. And then another thing is also look how to grade the whole perimeter of the building to avoid, like you mentioned, the water seepage. Not just for your metal building, but also keep away from the water running towards your home or even to your neighbor's site.
I'd be mad if my neighbor built this building. I got water coming into my house.
That's a big problem. So a big problem to account is the access. This can be a huge problem as well, because if we can't drive a 60,000 pound truck, a concrete truck, man, that's a big problem. So we'll need like equipment. So again, we got to see what kind of equipment we have to bring. So either a boom pump, a line pump, even a buggies. Again, those are the biggest problems, or issues that you want to take it into consideration. So when any contractor does the site visit, right? And again, remember, no one site is the same. So every single site is different. Nothing is the same. So I wish everything was the same, but
I wish everything. In a perfect world, we'll give you the quote and it's done. But we gotta do a site visit. Now, quick side note, guys: if you get concrete from us or not, I want to give you guys insight on what we do to minimize water seepage. Not only do we build 4 inches above grade to avoid that water seepage that I mentioned, but we also do a perimeter notch detail, all for the full perimeter of our building. That's that 1.5 inch notch or drop that the panels and the base trim overlap. So that notch detail is there to make sure that we avoid water seepage. That's the biggest enemy to construction. So if you're getting concrete from us, we highly encourage that's one of the biggest things that you take away from this video, which is the water seepage.
It's huge. and that explains, obviously the concrete notch detail in front of the overhead doors as well.
Yeah, for everything.
Yeah, for everything. Not just the perimeter, but also for the doors.
Exactly.
And so it's huge.
Yeah. Whenever I first started, I used to think it's just concrete, pour it, and be done with it.
No. I wish it was that easy.
No, heck no. There's just so much that goes into it before we even pour concrete. Everything that I just mentioned, that's before the concrete shows up on site. It's a lot. It's things to definitely know.
Yeah, and another thing is that you're mentioning having all these problems. We actually do have a blog, where we kind of update those weekly, and where you can check our website for those if you want more information about the problems.
We can link it on the link below.
Yeah, the link should be popping up down below.
Perfect.
A new project can be tedious. Finding the correct contractor for your concrete, building, insulation, etc. It's a lot. We know. We've seen it from various customers, which is why we've combined everything in one place just for you. We handle everything for you to make sure you have your building your way. We do tubular and red iron metal buildings, bolt ups to weld ups, concrete, site preparation, demolition work, polished concrete, polyura, or concrete coatings, permitting assistance to make sure you are clear with the city and HOA, various insulation options like spray foam, fiberglass, and solar reflective insulation, gutter system, custom accessories to stand out against your neighbors, custom overhead and roll-up doors, cedar posts or encasements, various service door options or windows to match your aesthetics, mezzanines or balconies available, or bolt-ups to give you that additional vertical space. Electrical is in the beta and available close to our office here in Fort Worth, Texas. Limited landscaping options and masonry to match your home or get that HOA approval. Everything you need in one place. Whether you're a business owner needing warehouse space, or a car enthusiast needing a garage, or just anyone looking for a strong custom metal building, we've got you covered. Our clients choose not because we're the cheapest, but because of what we stand for. Keep in mind, we do not service outside of our service areas. We do not provide just materials or just metal building kits. We don't just do concrete or spray foam. We do full turnkey Texas metal building projects. If you fall within our service area, contact us today. If not, I hope our channel can help you with your metal building project.
So another one is structural problems, right? So I do want to circle back through something that you mentioned earlier, which obviously the site prep, huge, right?
Yeah.
So the elevations, and it's because that brings us to our next point. So which is the structural integrity, David. So talk to us, give us more insight on that.
The best way that I can describe structural concrete integrity is the foundation's ability to safely support the weight of the building without cracking, shifting, or even settling over time. If the foundation isn't strong and stable, your building will be affected. But before we do move on, I mentioned cracks. Hairline cracks versus structural cracks is two completely different things. Hairline cracks are going to happen. That's inevitable, especially if we're pouring during summer.
Oh yeah, that heat.
That heat, it's gonna crack.
Yeah, with concrete, you have so little time to really perfect it. So you're on a time crunch every single time, especially for the summer pours. Those are very, very tight deadlines there.
I mean, Benjamin Franklin said it best. In this world, there's three things that are certain: death, taxes, and concrete's gonna crack. That's a true story.
Yeah, that is true. True statement right there. So again,
you can quote me on that.
Let's quote David on that.
Quote me on that.
Again, now if you ask yourself, what is the elevation, or how Adbert used to say, the off-levelness? Come on, bro. So what does that have to do anything with structural integrity, David? So
of course, the level of your site determines the depth of the footings.
Yeah.
That's the best way that I can describe it. And even the internals as well, because we do waffle style slabs, so the internals are in every single one of our foundations. The foundation design, the internal cross beams are the reinforced concrete supports built inside the foundation that connects different sections together. This helps spread the building's weight evenly, making the foundation stronger and reducing the chances of cracking, sinking, or like I mentioned earlier, uneven movement over time.
Again, David, you were in sales, and you did this every single day. So how do you even explain to a client how do you reach that undisturbed soil to really help prevent any structural issues down the road? Because that's the last thing we want to do.
Of course.
Problem to have,
So you get a concrete quote from a competitor, right? Because we're talking about getting your own concrete. So this is what you're going to typically see in the industry. It's a 4-inch slab, 12 by 12 perimeter footings with no internals. Your site is off level by 12 inches. That's a total of 24 inches that the footing should be. Not only do you have to bring enough dirt to make that site level, you also want to make sure that it's sitting above grade by at least 4 inches, like we mentioned earlier, to avoid that water seepage. Now, you have to increase the depth of the footings by 16 inches, because remember, 12
12
of the footings plus 4 of the above grade. That's 16 inches. So if you don't increase the depth of the footings by 16 inches, you will have structural issues because now you have the perimeter footing and the internals and the weight of the building sitting on dirt that was brought in just a couple days ago. It's almost like stepping on a sponge or something like that. You can feel that it hasn't been there for years. So if you don't reach into undisturbed soil, you will have structural issues. Say for example, it rains, that washout, that slab, that footer is going to be sitting in the air.
Ooh,
you're gonna see the exposed underneath it. You want to make sure you're into.
That's a big
The point of the story is that you want to make sure that you're at least 12 inches into undisturbed soil. Speaking of stories, I want to touch on a story, one that we learned.
Yeah, that was a big one there. You know,
that's the one that changed our whole process.
Yeah, you know, again, we're always looking to revamp our standards. So
not just the industries, but ours as well.
Ours as well. So this one really here, you know, just changed us for the better. So.
For the better, for sure, and for our clients. When we first started offering concrete, we had a client here in Godley, Texas. He got a 30 by 60, 40 feet was enclosed. 20 feet was open.
Okay.
So it's a very popular, very popular project right now. What we did for that project, we did a 4-inch slab with only perimeter footings, no internals.
Wow.
Yeah, mind you, here in North Texas, the ground is very clay-based.
Very clay-based.
Very shifty.
That black gumbo is what they call it.
Black gumbo. If it rains, it gets muddy. When it dries, it cracks, and it shifts a lot. Fast forward, our client called us, and he said, hey, my building's making some weird noises. It's cracking, its panels are buckling and bending. We went out there, and we found that the problem was in the foundation. The ground below the foundation was shifting. And because that slab didn't have internals, I think we went into undisturbed soil, but those internals helped the foundation move.
Wow.
And because it didn't have internals, ultimately that was the problem. What we did is we made it right. We grabbed a third-party company, go out there, jack up the foundation, and we actually added piers where those internals should have been. Sat it down, fixed the building, replaced the panels, things like that. So we made it right by the client. We learned from that. Now all of our foundations come with the bare standard, bare minimum, 4-inch thickness, 12 inches into undisturbed soil, not just 12 inches deep, but 12 inches into undisturbed soil, internal cross beams at every 20 feet and 3,500 PSI. All right, bro, so we covered a lot of good stuff, right? We want to wrap up with probably what's the most important thing, and that's how to properly vet your contractor. You're probably asking, well, how do you vet a builder or a contractor? Number one, you want to look at their warranties that they offer.
Yeah, that's a big thing. So especially, you know, what happens, especially after the project's completed. So what does the warranty really cover? What happens if something goes wrong, right? Because when it comes to concrete, I mean, once it's poured, there's not really any going back.
You can't make any modifications, bro.
No, you can't. Unlike our metal buildings where, you know, you can take a panel off and maybe get some screws out or even trim. You know, a trim gets scratched, you can definitely take it off and we can replace it, right? But the thing with concrete here is like once it's already poured, it's not really going back.
There's very minimal opportunities for repair. You know, you can make a couple cuts here and there, but once it's done, it's in there.
Yeah, definitely check on those warranties for sure.
Of course. And number two, definitely check if they're insured. And why is this really, really important? Especially with concrete, you're digging, you don't know what's underneath, you can't physically see it. What if you're digging and you hit a line? What if somebody gets hurt on the job, on the property? What if you hit a septic line? You don't want to have a shitty situation on the property, bro.
No, so you don't want you do not want to have that.
Heck no, man. Anything can happen in construction. It's construction, there's human error, and you can't sometimes avoid all those scenarios. So that's why it's really important to know if your contractor is insured.
No, very important details right there. You mentioned, David. We actually had a situation here, David, where we actually damaged one of our clients' septic system. We damaged the septic system, but you know, fortunately, we made it right. Our insurance was able to, you know, help cover the our septic system. So again, this is extremely important, like David was saying, especially for concrete teams, you know, because there is a lot of digging. You know, when we're digging our footers, when we're digging the perimeter footings, all that, it's so much heavy equipment being used. Again, you mentioned it's construction. Some things might go wrong, so it's definitely important that we have those, you know, that they're insured. Another thing is, what if they damage the neighbor's property, or yet alone even damage your property? Again, like I was saying, you want to have a contractor that's insured. So
especially if you have a good relationship with your neighbor, and then you damage your property, they're gonna hate you forever. So
you definitely have to watch that.
It's super important to have that insurance in place as well. And number three, look at the size and the value of your job, and ask yourself, the contractor that I am hiring, do they have the capability to be able to sustain a loss if something does go wrong on your job site? You know, are they gonna stay and make it right for you?
Yeah.
Especially with concrete. Again, you mentioned, once it's poured, you can't do anything about it. You know, if you have cold joints, if you have structural concerns, major cracks, or something really goes wrong with the concrete, it's not as simple as just fix it and, you know, move on. It could mean tear out and redo the whole job. And remember, if you're gonna be building like a workshop, the concrete floor finish is completely important because you're looking at it every single day. It's not like a home or
you kind of cover it up.
Yeah,
with
you could,
floor,
yeah, exactly.
rug.
Yeah, you're looking at it every single day. So if you're gonna be spending a lot of money on this project, you wanna make sure that the floor is done. That way you don't, yeah, exactly. That way you don't have to spend money later on for coatings or anything like that to protect it.
Yeah, no, you're right. Important details right there. So again, when you are vetting your builder, don't just look at the price, right? Because that's, you can always get lost in the price, right?
100%.
Always look at their warranties as well. Make sure that they are insured and make sure they have the experience as well when it comes to, you know, doing these types of projects because I mean, it's a huge investment.
100%.
But yeah, so you just want to make sure you're hiring someone to pour concrete, make sure, or even put up a building. You want to make sure they are insured and have
100%.
warranties.
Yeah. At the end of the day, you're hiring somebody that you want to know that if something does go wrong, they're going to make it right.
Yeah.
You know, you want to have that peace of mind that whoever you're investing your hard-earned money with, they're going to take care of you.
Make it right.
That's the main point of this whole video, actually. But that's the peace of mind is what we want to look out for.
Yeah. We covered a lot of great points regarding the permits, you know, setbacks, and why is it important, you know, for site preparation, you know, and how to avoid those, you know, structural issues, and of course the importance of vetting your contractor. So, and obviously the kind of warranties or if they're insured or not. So now, say that you like our buildings, the way we build our buildings, right? So, but you already have a contractor, a concrete contractor on site, and maybe you want to do your own concrete. So there's something we do that really helps with that process. You know, when you're doing your own concrete. Talk to us a little bit about that, David.
For sure. So if you don't get the concrete from us, but you do get the building, you'll see a quote line item that's called the concrete inspection. What that is to avoid these main things. It's to avoid the building construction delays, avoid building modifications, whether it's on site or back in our fab shop in Weatherford. It lets you know what modifications have to happen to the concrete, which ties into what I mentioned earlier. Is your concrete guy going to answer the call and come back and make those modifications or no? So we also want to make sure that the slab is square. That ties into making sure the building sits properly on your foundation. So what this means actually specifically is we want to make sure that all four corners of the foundation is not perfect, but dang near perfect at 90-degree angles, ensuring that the building walls align and fit properly on the concrete without overhang over the edges or less than. Think like a shoebox. If the box is twisted, that lid won't sit on top. That's the best way that I can describe it.
Man,
if you can visualize it,
close it.
You can't close it.
Awesome, David. So again, thank you for explaining that to us. You know, I like when you make these analogies because I'm able to really understand, especially for our viewers.
I'm a big visualist, and I like to make it very simple to be able to understand with everyday things.
Yeah, you're right. So again, Pac, so our goal with this video is to point out really the most common problems that we see and that we hear all the time from clients and from our sales team as well. So even our contractors and our building team. So we point out these problems, you know, so you don't have to find out yourself, right? So and you don't have to go through them as well, because that's the last thing we want you to go through is, man, these problems can be a headache. So with that being said, you know, a wise man learns from the mistakes of others. So again, David, man, it's just important to know.
I mean, we're big on communication. At the end of the day, if you get your own concrete, our biggest goal is to communicate with your sales rep so that we can guide you what steps you should want to look out for, what steps you got to take so that you avoid these problems and have a headache-free experience at the end of the day.
Yeah, no, you want to give them a smooth process to our clients and to our viewers as well. Again, if you are shopping for something in the industry like this, again, it's
even if you're not in the state of Texas, if you're not in the service area, I hope this video gives you a lot of good insight. Pac, thank you again. If you find these types of videos super helpful, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Comment. What stuck out? What stuck out to you guys the most? Even share with somebody that you know that's getting their own metal building, maybe getting a concrete pour. Be like, hold on, watch this video first. This allows us to continue to grow, create more educational videos, all for you guys.
That's what you're here for, David.
That's why they hired me.
Yes. So again, thank you so much, David. You know, it was awesome time. You know, I love making these videos for you and for our viewers. So helping our whole entire team. So thank you, David. Again, you are the knowledge guy. You've been through these stuff. So again, I appreciate it, and thank you so much for all the knowledge you provide for us.
I mean, I'm here to help out, guys. If you have any questions, comment down below.
Reach out to David.
Reach out to me. Reach out to me directly. Pop up my email down below. I'm here to help out, answer any questions you guys might have.
Awesome. Well, David.
That being said,
let's go home.
Awesome.
Let's go. We'll see you in the next one.
What's up, Pac? Remember to stay up to date with everything that we're up to by checking out our social media. You can find us at WolfSteel Buildings for behind-the-scenes action. We share our latest projects, update on what the team is working on, and all the exciting progress happening in real time. Don't miss out on the action, and remember to give us a follow.